Hello, everyone. My name is Brandon Knapp, and this is another fan fiction, I guess you call it, reading I'm doing. And this one is Lingyin Huang, or Reen, as she's commonly referred to in the anime series Infinite Stratos, ex male reader. Prologue chapter. I sit, Prologue, the beginning. I sit here now thinking about my past, starting from where I came from and how I became who I am. Now, mind you, I am just starting in the academy. To fill you in, I shall start from the beginning. My name is Alex. I used to be just a regular guy and was bullied a lot by my peers. I was never the strong type. I was more a loner than anything else. I felt it was better to be alone because there was no feeling of guilt if you did something wrong. You couldn't hurt anyone if you didn't have one to hurt. I spent most of the time studying and sleeping. I got average marks on my homework. In simple terms, I was just pretty much I was pretty much a nobody. One day that all changed though. I was at school just like any other day, normal day. I went to my classes and was ignored like usual. It was at lunch when a group of boys approached me and demanded I give them all the money I had on me. I told no and to go bother someone else. I know that I wasn't strong, but the money I had was from working odd jobs. I had saved up a lot of money over the summer and wasn't going to give it away. I wanted to save as much as I could so I could get a car when I turned 16. I wanted to achieve that on my own at least. The boys left eventually. I continued throughout my day like usual. After school, though, I was confronted by the boys again. Apparently, they had been looking for someone to step on and exert their power over. They knew that I had walked home every day. I decided to run instead of fighting. Dave gave chase instantly. I ran back into school looking for a place to hide. I saw a door that had "keep out" written on, but had it on written by the staff. I decided it'd be a good place to hide since I knew they didn't think they would fall into an area that was off limits. I quickly entered the room. Uh, I quickly entered a room and tried to find a place to hide. I saw a pile of stuff stacked up and saw some machinery around it. Quickly slid behind the stuff. Just as I had crouched behind the piece of junk, the doors opened and the boys came into the room. I think he went in here, one of them said. I was scared. I adjusted myself and I felt my hand touch metal. All of a sudden, came a glowing light from the machine. I stood up and looked at the machine just as the teachers came in to see what the commotion was all about. It can't be. A guy shouldn't be able to control an IS unit except that one case, one of the teachers said. The boys took off running with scared looks on their faces. The next thing I knew, the teachers took me to the principal's office, and my parents showed up. In the meantime of waiting for my parents, the staff contacted someone about me. Once my parents showed up, they talked about the school that trained people on how do you use an IS unit. The next thing I knew, my parents had put me on a plane to Japan to attend the academy. I was greeted by a woman that told me her name was Miss Orimura. She drove me to the academy from the airport and showed me a room. She explained that since girls were only to use an IS unit except me and the other and one other boy that I would be sharing a one other boy that I'd be sharing a room with a girl. It wasn't long to reach the academy. Miss Orimura showed me to my room. She handed me a map and told me that my roommate would have day off of classes tomorrow and was instructed to show me around the academy. She apologized for having to leave on a short notice, but said she had some important things to attend to, and that she was the headmistress of the school. After she left, I took the bed that was free and started putting my stuff away. Taking out my stuff. All I could do was wait for my roommate to get back, so I pulled my laptop out that my parents had bought for me and watched anime that I had downloaded. After watching a few episodes, I turned the laptop off and decided to think on how I was going to survive in this new type of environment. So here I am now, wondering what my life will be like and what happens next. Loud Roommate, Chapter 1. You were so deep in thought that you didn't hear your roommate come in. You didn't seem to be aware of anything, and not even where you were looking at, which happened to be on the wall. Hey, you! A girl's voice, snapping you back to the present. You look up to see a short, statured girl with long brown hair flowing behind her. You stand up and brush yourself off. You're kind of nervous because girls don't usually talk to you. Lock the girl next time, the girl yells at you. You flinch a little from being yelled at, and the girl notices. I'm sorry, I shouldn't have yelled at you. I'm sorry for being mean, the girl says apologetically. It's not your fault for being upset. I should have been more careful, you say. You respond while sounding nervous. My name is Reen. You don't have to be nervous around me. I won't bite. I'm just normally loud, Reen says, introducing herself. I'm Alex Rain. I'm just not used to a girl talking to me, is all you say while blushing a little. Do you want to talk about it? It's fine if you don't. I just want to get to know is all. I want to help if possible, says and asks. I'm not sure you would like listening to my past. It's kind of sad, really, you say. I will listen to whatever you want to tell me. Miss Ormore already told me you're a little antisocial and to try and be friends with you. I would actually like to be your friend. People I don't like seeing people hurt or sad, Reen says. Well, since I have nothing to do, I guess I can tell you about what happened to me, you say. Reen sits down next to you on your bed, and you begin to tell her everything about your past. It took roughly about an hour to explain everything to her, but she honestly listened to everything you said and without interrupting you. Afterwards, she sat there for a minute, thinking, and looked up at you and smiled. Well, around here, we don't treat people like that. The academy may not look like it, but us students look out for one another. Some of us treat each other like family. Everyone has their own reason for being here, and we understand that. If you ever need anything, just let me know. Says, "It was unusual for you to talk to anyone, let alone a girl. But Reen made you feel welcomed, and you noticed the entire time you were talking about your past, you weren't nervous. Reen, you say? What is it? Reen asks. Thank you. You made me feel like I can actually finally talk to people. I guess I am really nervous because I'm adjusting to a new type of lifestyle, you say. Reen smiles at you. No problem. I will introduce you to my friends tomorrow, and we can go from there. For now, let's get some sleep. Reen says. Reen gets up and pulls out a sleeping outfit out of her dresser and starts to get undressed. I don't think we should change in front of each other. You say. You aren't a pervert, are you? Reen asks. Well, no, I'm not. You say. We'll just relax then. It's not like I'm going to attack you or anything. I figured if you aren't perverted, then there's no reason to be nervous about changing in front of each other then, Reen says. True, you say. You turn away from her, though, as you get dressed, but are still a little nervous about doing it in front of a girl. You change quickly and climb to bed. Good night, Alex, Reen says. Good night, Reen, you say. At the very least, you thought this was going to be weird to get adjusted to this lifestyle, but you decided to roll with it for a while before making a decision on anything. You roll over, facing away from her, and fall asleep quickly, feeling the jet lag. Chapter 2: The Crew. You wake up and realize that you rolled over to where you were facing towards Reen's side. You see something blurry in your vision, and when your eyes adjusted, you saw Reen's backside and she was getting dressed. You instantly rolled back over and apologized. What are you apologizing for? Reen asked. I just saw you in your underwear, you say, sounding nervous. So, I know you won't do anything to me. Just forget about it, Reen said. You get up and get dressed while Reen is starting to cook something to eat. After you were dressed, you sat at the table with the big book that they had given you to read and continued to read it. You were so engrossed in the book that it startled you when Reen slid a plate of food in front of you. Easy there. No need to be so nervous. My friends will like you and we will help you out. Just relax, Reen says. Sorry, just no one has looked out for me besides my parents, you say. I told you last night that I would be your friend. Besides, you seem like a nice guy. Friendship starts with trust, doesn't it? Just trust me and relax around me, Reen says. All right, I will try, you say, seeing Reen smile. You follow Reen for the mornings. She shows you where the classroom is that you'll be in for your classes. Unfortunately, you couldn't go in because class was in session. She showed you the pool for swim practice. When you entered the pool area, all the girls in there went crazy seeing you. You became nervous and hid a little behind Reen. Don't worry, I won't let them try anything, Reen said. Reen led the way out of the pool area and took you to the main gymnasium. Some of the girls were practicing kendo. You got a little excited seeing the kendo stuff. Reen walked over to a girl that had long brown hair, flowing hair tied up with a sash around it to hold it up some. Hey, Hoki, Reen said to the girl. The girl lowered her kendo stick. Is that the new transfer student? The girl named Hoki asked. Yes, he is also my roommate. Try not to intimidate him. He is nervous enough already, Reen says. The girl walks over to you and bows a little. My name is Hoki. Pleasure to meet you. I am one of Reen's friends. I hope we can be friends once you get accustomed to everything around here. Just relax around me. If you're with Reen, you're more than welcome to see me if you need anything, the girl said. My name is Alex Rain. Thank you for greeting me. So far, the girls around here are friendly. Just not used to girls being friendly towards me, you say. Some just see you as a potential mate. Just be careful and stick with us and it'll be fine. We'll keep the vultures away from you, Hoki says. Well, it's about lunchtime. Shall we get going and beat the rest of the group of my friends there? Reen says and asks you. Right. I am kind of hungry now, you say. You follow Reen to the cafeteria. You watch as she orders a bowl of ramen. It smells so good that you order the same thing, but requests a little bit of chili peppers in it. Reen raises her eyebrows but doesn't pry. You follow her to a large table. All of a sudden, a girl with blonde, golden hair sits down at a table. Ichika's such an idiot, the girl with golden hair says. Before Reen said anything, a girl with blue hair sat down, along with a girl with long golden hair and another with platinum hair wearing an eye patch over one of her eyes. Then Hoki and a guy sat down. You were all squished in the booth with Reen pressed up against next to you. You got a little embarrassed that a girl was touching you. Decided not to complain though. Ahem. Everyone, this is Alex Rain. He is the new transfer student and my roommate, Reen announced to everyone. Oh my, another boy. My name is Charlotte Dunois, said the girl with short golden hair. I'm Lara Bodewig, said the girl with platinum hair proudly. I'm Cecilia Alcott, said the girl with long golden hair. I'm Kanzashi, said the girl with blue hair shyly. I'm Ichika. Welcome to the meat grinder, friend, the guy said. It's a pleasure to meet everyone here, you say. Charlotte is French, Laura is German, Cecilia is British, Ichika, Hoki, and Kanzashi are Japanese, and I am Chinese, Reen says, telling you where everyone came from. So what are you? Laura asks. I'm Australian, you say. Just let any of us know if anyone messes with you. We also won't let any of the girls in this academy try anything on you either. Relax and just be yourself with us, Hoki says. Thank you, everyone. I'm not used to having friends, you say. Well, you have us now, Ichika says. You nod your head, and everyone starts eating and chatting about IS units that they have. You join in the fun and even laugh a couple of times when the others mention Ichika's fails at things. You felt that for once in your life you had a group of peers that you fit in with and could have fun with. All right, Chapter 3 Reen's Problem. After everyone went back to their classes, Reen continued to show you around the school. She showed you the docking area where the IS units were kept at. You saw there was a hangar there for those that had personal IS units. You saw you're sitting there shining like crazy because it was golden color. It outshone everyone else's. It even caught Reen's attention. She went up to examine it. I take this as your IS unit? Reen asked. Yes, you replied, trying to tell what she thought of it. What's the name of it? Reen asked you. Raikuri. It has the ability to control electricity. Since it uses a massive amount of energy to use, the core produces energy that's 3 times the normal IS unit. Tabane Shinono created this ice unit herself. I am also able to collect data on it and turn in reports every time I use it. You say, who do you hit in those reports to? Reen asked. To Miss Orimori, you say. I would like to see in action sometime, Reen says. You will soon, trust me. I fear the power of this unit myself, you say. Sounds like a nightmare to use. Let's continue the tour, Reen says, with a look on her face, as if she was thinking of something. You continue to tour with Reen leaned away. For the rest of the day, you visited the medical bay, mechanics, where they worked on the IS units, and the training ground for the IS units. Everywhere Reen took you, the staff and the girls that worked there were friendly and tried to make you feel welcomed. You're actually starting to gain more confidence and weren't nervous as much. After the tour, Reen. Hold on. After the tour, blah blah blah. After the tour, Reen and you went back to your room. You lay down in your bed and fell asleep. After a few hours, you end up waking up to the sound of Reen crying. You look over and see that she's on her bed, curled up into a ball, crying and shaking. You instantly get up and try to hug her. She pushes you away. Get away from me, she yells. What's wrong? You ask. Nothing. Just leave me alone, she yells back at you. You keep calm and confront her. Look, I can tell there's something is wrong, you say. So tell me, you say. I can't, she says this time in a more calm tone. Why not? We are friends, are we not? You helped me today, so let me help you now, you say. She looks up at you and you pull out a handkerchief out holding out to her. She grabs it and wipes the tears away. All right, it's not something good to hear though, Reen says. I can handle it. Just let me know what's going on, you say. You sit down on her bed, keeping a little bit of space between the two of you to try and make her comfortable. Well, it's my mother. She has cancer. She has cancer causing a tumor near her heart. They can't do anything to remove it because it would kill her instantly. She doesn't have much longer to live either. She has had it for a while now, and they say she only has a week to live at most, he says before she bursts into tears again. You grab her this time and hold her even though she tries to shove you away. I'm not letting you go. Go ahead and cry on my shoulder. This is what friends are for, are they not? You say. She stops struggling and eventually cries herself out until she falls asleep leaning against you. You didn't want to wake her, so you just sat. Eventually you fall asleep again while still holding her. Chapter 4 Suspicious and Rin's Problem Exposed. You end up falling asleep while holding Rin last. You didn't realize that you had fallen back onto her bed while holding her until you were woken up by Hoki. Apparently, Rin and you were both extremely tired last night because neither of you had heard Hoki walk in. Just what the hell are you doing to her? Hoki shouted. Rin woke up from Hoki yelling Hoki yelling and looked around, noticing that she was snuggled up against you. He quickly tried to move away, but Reen decided to stay right by you. You are a pervert taking advantage of a girl, Hoki yelled at you. She raised the kendo stick upwards in her hands and was going to hit you until Reen deployed the arm of her ice unit and blocked the blow. He didn't do anything to me, Hoki. I had a nightmare and he tried to comfort me, is all, Reen said. That better be all, Hoki said while glaring at you. Hoki left after, making you making sure you both were awake. I'm sorry for causing such a commotion, you say. Don't worry about it. I told you to relax. Thank you, by the way, Reen said. For what, you say? For helping me. No one has ever really done that for me. Reen says. Anytime. I'm your friend, and that's something friends are supposed to do, you say. You both dress quickly, and head to the cafeteria to get something to eat for breakfast. When you both get there, the group looks at you both. Cecilia and Laura just stare at you both. Tatanashi smiles, and Ichika acts as if nothing is out of the ordinary. Kanzashi remains quiet like usual. Charlotte smiles Charlotte smiles as if acting like nothing is wrong. All right, you guys, spill it. What are you talking about? You're acting different. We heard from Hoki as to how she found you both in the same bed. He was trying to comfort me because I had a nightmare, Reen said with a blush on her face. You sure he isn't your bride? It wasn't anything like that, Reen shouts. Just then, Miss Orimura comes up to everyone. Why are you all being so loud and causing a commotion? Miss Orimura asked. Hoki found Alex holding me and trying to comfort me from a nightmare I had. And the girls are trying to say it was something else, Reen says. I suppose you would have a nightmare with what is going on with your family. Why don't you tell the rest? I think they should know since you are friends, Miss Orimura says. Know what? Cecilia asked. You grip Reen's hand to show support. Well, my mom has cancer and doesn't have long to live, Reen says before bursting into tears. You grab her and hold her against your chest as shock registers on everyone's faces. You rub Reen's back trying to comfort her. Reen, why we had no idea. Why did you come to us sooner? We are all here for you, Charlotte says and asks. I didn't want you guys to see me being weak from my emotions, Reen says. We would never think you're weak, Laura says. We will always support you, Hoki says. Thank you, everyone, Reen says, while still gripping onto your shirt. Well, everyone take the day off. Your assignment is to be there for her and help her, Miss Orimura says. Miss Orimura walks away, leaving you all standing there as a group. It seems to you that everyone is more like a family than friends. Everyone decides to go outside and hang out for the day on the school grounds. Chapter 5 Reen losing interest in Ichika? The day was starting to wind down. Well, everyone had gone together to spend the day and have fun. Everyone except you participated in some sparring matches with each other. You just sat back and watched, taking notes on the different combat styles that everyone used. When you looked back over your notes after writing so much, you noticed that most of them was on Reen. You had no clue why she was the main one you focused on. Everyone eventually finished up their sparring matches and put their IS units away. After a decent length conversation, everyone saying goodbye to each other for the day. Reen and you head back to your rooms. You sat down at your desk and opened your notes to continue studying them as Reen got her clothes and hopped in the shower. You were so engrossed on your notes and studying them while taking more notes on how to implement some of the combat styles into yours that you didn't know Reen had finished with her bath and an hour had gone by. Reen had come up behind you and apparently been watching you for a while before she spoke, causing you to startle. What you doing? Reen said. Just studying everyone's combat styles and seeing if there's anything I can use in a fight with my unit, you say. You sure study a lot, Reen says. I have to. I have something in my life that is worth defending for once. I never had anything going for me until now, you say, while still looking at your notes. What do you mean? Reen asks. I have friends now, and that means a lot to me. I want to become strong enough to defend them. This is something somewhat a dream to me. I was an outcast growing up and never had friends or family that cared much about me. Now that I do, I don't want to lose any of them, you say. I understand how you feel. I'm glad that everyone likes you, Reed says. You turn and smile at Reen. You are my best friend. You are the first friend I have ever had. I promise that as a man, I will do my best to protect you. I never want to lose our friendship, you say. Reen blushes from your statement. In a way, you and Ichika are kind of the same, Rin says. How so? Ichika says the same thing. He feels it's his job to protect the ones that can't protect themselves. I believe most people would call it chivalry, Rin says. That word is probably the best. That's probably the best word for it. Best word used for it. Chivalry was a code of honor among knights back in medieval times. It was what made them into people that were respected, you say. Can you hold me again like you did last night? I'm scared for my mother and I don't know how to cope with it. Reen says and asks, if you're okay with it, um, if you're okay with it, I don't see anything wrong with doing that. I have never been in a situation myself, but I can imagine how terrifying it is knowing someone that you love and care for only have so long to live, you say. Grab her hand and lead her to her bed. Come on, let's get some sleep. We have to go back to classes tomorrow, you say. You lay down and Reen snuggles her back up against you. You put your arms around her and didn't take long before she fell asleep. Once she was asleep, you close your eyes and drift off to sleep. Chapter 6, Defying a Parent and Reen's Decision. You wake up in the morning and see that Reen was already up and in the shower. You get up out of bed and slowly walk over to your dresser and grab clothes out to change into after you take a shower. You sit down on the edge of your bed and worried about Reen, and when there came and knocked on the door of the room. You tell Reen that someone is here through the bathroom door and answer the door to the room. You see an older man there standing with Tatanashi. Hi, Alex. This is Reen's father, and he is here to see her, Tatanashi says. Come on in, both of you, and welcomes her, you say. The man just nods his head and walks in with Tatanashi behind him. He sits down as Reen came at the table when Reen comes out in just her underwear and bra. She sees her father and just stares. What do you think you're doing, young lady, walking around here in just your underclothes with the guy here? Her father says. Why are you here? Reen shot right back. I'm here to bring you home. I need your help with the business, he says. I'm not going back home. I finally found somewhere that I fit in and refuse to leave, Reen says. I'm your father, and you will obey my orders, her father says. You decide to step in and confront him. You didn't like the way he was treating her. You can't force her to leave. If you keep going, I will have to ask you to leave, you say. I will make my daughter come with force if I have to. She is my daughter, and she will obey me. Besides, who do you think you are getting involved in the situation? Reen's father says and asks you. I'm her roommate and friend. As for you thinking you can come in here and just order her around, well, that isn't going to happen. Under the regulations of the Academy, all students are hereby protected and shall not be released from the Academy's responsibility without approval from the said person. You say, quoting the rights of the Academy regulations. He gets up and grabs Reen by the arm and attempts to drag her out, but you stand in front of the door with a partial deployment are asking to adjust for your arm. Step aside, young man. You have no right to interfere here, Reen's father says. I have every right when it comes to protecting any of the students here, you say. Alex, that is enough, Miss Orimura says right behind you. I'm taking my daughter with me, and that is final. Now everyone get out of my way, Reen's father says. I'm sorry, but that is not happening. As Alex said, you have no right to take her. Either you cease, or our Academy's guards take you into custody, Miss Orimura says. Reen's father lets go of her. I will be back with a lawyer. You haven't heard the last of me, Reen's father says as he leaves. Are you all right? Yes, Reen? I'm fine. Thank you. Reen says as she hugs you. You hug her back and look at Miss Orimura. I want it to where that man is not allowed on the grounds of the Academy, you say. I'll get right on that. You just take care of her, Miss Orimura says before leaving. I'll leave you two alone. Please hurry to class as soon as possible, Miss Tatanashi says before leaving. Let us go to class and we can discuss this after classes, all right, you say? Reen nods and grabs her stuff while you grab yours and you both head to class. You hope today didn't get any worse. 7. Chapter 7. Reen devastated. You both make it to class. Reen and you sit down, and both of you pull your books out. But Reen seems a little off by her movements. You decide to keep a close eye on her. Apparently, each can notice because he gave you a look as if asking what's wrong. You pull out your tablet and send him a message that you will talk to him after classes. It was more than 2 seconds, and he sent you a message back saying okay. Classes seemed to drag on forever to get over with. You realized though that it was because you were focused on Reen. She seemed to be there in person, but not in mind. You were extremely worried about her. After classes were over with, everyone headed to the courtyards to hang out. You pull each off to the side away from all the girls. Her father tried to make her go home today. She refused to go home. I think she's worried about her father, but also doesn't want to leave. The last thing I know that is also on her mind is the time her mother has left, you say. She is in a tough spot. She usually isn't good at handling bad things like this. Just stay by her side, and if anything happens, contact us. We will be there in an instant. We need to keep an eye on her," Ichika says. "I agree. I'll let you talk to the girls about this tonight. For now, let's keep this quiet until tonight," you say. "Agreed," Ichika says. You both head back to the girls and act like nothing was going on. Everyone tries to have a good time. Reen was the only one that wasn't much involved with the conversations. She seemed lost in her mind. You knew this was a battle that only she could fight. Would stay by your side for support with everything, but hoped she had found out how to deal with everything. After the afternoon had gone by and everyone was done hanging out, everyone went off with Ichika while Reen went back with you back to the room. You decided to take a shower while Reen slept a little. After 15 minutes, you came out of the shower, dressed in your night clothes, when Reen's phone rings. You watch as she answers the phone. You hear her say this, and then all of a sudden the phone drops from Reen's hand, hitting the floor and shattering into pieces. You immediately rush over to her. "What's wrong?" you asked. "My mom died," Reen says before passing out. You immediately get on your phone and call Ichika. "What's up, man?" Ichika asks. "You and the girls get here right now. And get here right now. Reen just got her news that her mom passed away in the hospital." You say, trying to keep your voice as calm as possible. "We're on our way. I'm calling my sister and getting a medical team to meet us there. Be there shortly," Ichika says before hanging up. You close your phone and hope everyone gets there quickly. Chapter 8. Lost in thought and feelings. You were still holding on to Reen when everyone gets there. Since Ichika and the girls were next door, they arrived about 4 minutes before Miss Orimura and the medical team got there. You had tears running down your face while looking at Reen. It didn't take long before the medical team had Reen on a stretcher and taking her to the infirmary. Everyone looked at you and as you got up and walked out onto the balcony from the sliding door of the room. Charlotte and Tatanashi made a move towards you, but Ichika held his arm up, stopping them. You heard them talking, but couldn't make out what they were saying. Everyone sat down on either chairs or the bed and watched you. It didn't even cross your mind how you had been standing there looking at the night sky until someone put their hand on your shoulder. You slowly turned to see who it was and saw that it was Ichika. "Hey man, how you holding up?" Ichika asked you. "Not gonna lie, it hurts seeing her in this condition," you say. "We need to get some sleep, especially you," Ichika says. You guys go on ahead and head back to your rooms to sleep. "I'm going to be up for a while," you say. "If you need any of us, feel free to call one of us," Ichika says before turning to the girls and leaving the room with them. You continue to stand on the balcony for a while before hanging the bed. It didn't take long before you passed out on your bed. You wake up in the morning and get your books together and head to class. You ignore the looks as everyone stares at you as you pass them in the hall. You make it to class and sit down while taking out your supplies for class. After about midway through class, Reen comes in and takes her seat. You
Chapter
can see the
9.
pain
Bonds
reflecting on her
grow
face and don't realize that
stronger.
you and Reen
are
face
both woken
masks
up in the
her
morning
pain
by
also.
Charlotte.
The
Apparently,
girls
both of
and
you have been
Ichika
so
watch
out
you
of it
both,
so
but don't
tired
say
that
anything
neither
to
of you
either
woke
of
up
you.
when Charlotte
After
came
class,
in.
both you and Reen head back to your room. You sit down on your bed and
Charlotte
end up staring
pulls
up from the
out the
space
divider
until
between
Reen sits
yours
down on
and
the bed
Reen's
next to
bed
you
and
and
helps
cuddles
Reen
up
get
on your
dressed
lap.
while you get dressed in the
You wrap
bathroom.
your arms
Once you and
tightly
Reen were
around
both
her and just
dressed,
hold her as she starts
Charlotte
to
informed you
cry.
that both Miss
Eventually,
Orimura
Reen
wanted to see both
cries
of you.
herself to
Both of you had
sleep.
your
You just
stuff ready, but
continue
you
to
both
hold her
head
as you
into
sleep.
Miss Orimura's
You just
office to
wish there
see
was something
her.
you could do for her.
It
It
took
was a
about
long
15
time
minutes to
until
get there because
it was a
Reen
long
walked
time, but
slowly
you
due to
slowly
her
drift off to
emotional
sleep,
state.
holding on to Reen
Once you
without
both reached
realizing.
the office, you opened and held the door for Reen to go in. You both tell the staff member at the main desk, and she escorts both of you to Miss Orimura's office. Miss Orimura looks at both of you enter the room. "Please sit, you two," Miss Orimura asked. Both of you and Reen sat down. You knew something was up because of the look on Miss Orimura's face. I'm giving you both, along with all the other girls in Ichika, off of school for a week. You have the week for Reen's mother's funeral. I also have two things, one for each of you to hear and follow. Reen, you are to keep your emotions in check when you get back. I know losing a parent must be hard, but remember, safety is a big thing too when it comes to being an IS pilot. As for you, Alex Rain, you are to remain by Reen's side and are instructed to help her if she needs help. I know a little bit about you both, and as far as I'm concerned, if she needs any kind of comforting, you may do as you please to comfort her. I will also give you each of you 100,000 yen to spend during the time off. You are to use it as you see fit. I will also be attending the funeral myself on the day of. I liked your mother, Reen, and I want to pay my respects to the woman that helped me become who I am today. You are both dismissed. I will inform the others, Miss Orimura says while having tears in her eyes. It was the first time that you saw Miss Orimura cry. You're glad to see that even though she was strict, she still cared about others. Both you and Reen both got up and headed back to your room to decide what to take with you for the funeral and plan out where to stay for the week. You were glad that Miss Orimura was giving Reen a break to pull herself together, but you still couldn't help worry about Reen because she was still messed up emotionally and wasn't talking much. You knew some signs to tell when something was wrong with someone, but this time around you couldn't help do anything to help Reen except stay by her side. You both eventually make it back to the room. You asked Reen if she wanted to help planning everything out for the stay outside of the academy, but she told you to go ahead and plan everything out with combining both your money together. Reen leaned down on your bed instead of hers and curled up in a ball. When you saw this, you went over and laid down next to her, putting your arm around her. She immediately switched to curl up into your chest. She stared there and cried for a while. When she had cried herself out, she got up and got an outfit out along with a towel. I'm sorry for being such a mess, Reen said as she got her stuff for the shower. It's all right. I can imagine it's hard to lose someone close to you. Just try and cheer up. Just think at least she's in a better place and doesn't feel pain anymore. Reen smiles and kisses all of a sudden. After she kisses you, she rushes into the bathroom quickly from embarrassment. You touch her cheek where she kissed you and smile as you hear the shower turn on. You couldn't help but think that you're starting to fall in love with her. Chapter 10. The beginning of a relationship. You were packing your stuff and made sure to have an outfit left out to change into after taking a shower. You packed enough clothes for the whole week, ending up with 2 suitcases after the clothes and supplies for hygiene purposes. As soon as you were done getting the suitcases situated, Reen came out of the shower. You pick up your clothes and pick your clothes up and head into the bathroom to shower while Reen decided to get dressed. You knew she probably didn't put anything on under the towel wrapped around her and would have been embarrassed if she got dressed in front of you, so you made sure to hurry and get into the shower. While in the shower, you couldn't help but think about Reen and her actions. You noticed when she was in a bad mood, the tendency she tends to ignore what is normal for doing things. You worried with everything that was going on that it might be too much for her. You did have one question for her, though. You just hoped she would be truthful, even if the answer was no to it. You turn the water off and get dressed. Before you leave the bathroom, you take a deep breath and slowly let it out. You know, each gun the other girl saw right through your feelings for Reen, and it was time to face your real feelings in Reen. You walk out of the bathroom and see Reen has packed her stuff for the week away for the funeral. You slowly approach her and she turns towards you and looks towards you, noticing the serious look on your face. What's wrong? Reen asks. You brace yourself for her answer before speaking. Reen, I have something to say and ask you, you say, gauging the reaction on her face. He stands there waiting for you to speak and notices that you are nervous. I love you, Reen. Will you go out with me? You say and ask. You close your eyes, waiting for her to say no. Yes, she says happily. You open your eyes just in time to see her jump at you. You catch her in your arms and hug her tightly. You couldn't believe that she said yes. You look down and notice tears of joy on her face. You raise her up and kiss her deeply, feeling her mouth open slightly, allowing you to deepen the kiss even more. She slowly reaches her arms up and wraps them around your neck. You both are standing there kissing like that when the door to the room opens up, with Ichika and the girls standing there. Chapter 11. Setting the girls out. Both you and Reen freeze when everyone came into the room. You became nervous because the other girls started looking at you closely. Reen removed her arms around your neck and straightened her outfit to make sure it wasn't wrinkly. What in the hell is going on here? Hoki shouted. Well, we were just... You started to say before Hoki cut in again. You better have not done anything to her, yelled Hoki. Easy, Hoki. Let him explain, Charlotte said while watching both you and Reen. Well, he confessed his love to me and I accepted, Reen said, saving you from having to speak. About time, man. I thought you were going to lose it having to keep sharing the same room with Reen and not telling her how you felt, Ichika said. What do you mean, Ichika asked, the girls asked Ichika in unison. Well, it was obvious that you liked Reen, Ichika said. All the girls smacked Ichika in the back of the head. Ow, what the hell is that for, Ichika said. If you can't tell, you're dense. It's obvious they all like you, man, you say. Wait, what? Ichika says. It's obvious the six girls like you and want to be with you, say to Ichika. Ichika stammers while looking at all the girls with a nervous look on his face. Face the facts, man. They all care about you. All the girls are in shock because you set them out how they feel towards Ichika. Eventually, Ichika composes himself. I'm sorry for not paying that close attention to you girls, to realize on how you felt, Ichika says while looking down and sad at the same time. The girls get over their shock and start to feel nervous because now Ichika knew how they felt towards him. Sorry for saying your girls out, but Ichika needed to know the truth. He's been hurting you girls and didn't realize it.
But now that everything is out in the open, everyone can stop hurting each other unintentionally, you say, while feeling sympathetic for them. I never meant to hurt any of you girls. I'll pay more attention to you girls from now on. The girls all bow their head and apologize to Ichika. Ichika just waves it off like it isn't a big deal and hugs each of the girls, trying to cheer them up and show that he cares about them all. How about you date them all and decide who you like one best once you have a chance to know them each on a very personal level, you suggest. I like them all. I have some things to do, Ichika says before walking out the door, holding his head in shame for not seeing the fact they all liked him. Once Ichika left, you decide to speak to the girls. I know it might have seemed messed up, but how about you all be with him? I know enough to know that besides Miss Orimura, he had never had anyone to rely on. You say, all the girls nod. Good. Now you all need to go comfort him. I'm sure he's feeling down on himself. Please take care of him and be kind. He has a rough life and right now he needs all of you. You say. The girls nod and leave to try and be there for Ichika. You smile as you see them leaving, knowing that it will work out in the end, but will take time. Once everyone leaves, Reen speaks. That was a weird thing to do, but thanks for trying to help them all, Reen says. Just trying to help them out. How about we get back to us now, you say and ask. That sounds like a wonderful idea, Reen says. You grab Reen's face and start to kiss her deeply again, enjoying your time with her now that she is by your side. Chapter 12. The starting of the trip. It wasn't very long before Miss Ormore called everyone to her office to make sure everyone was ready to leave for the funeral. While everyone was in the office, Miss Ormar kept watching her younger brother because even though he was paying attention to what she was saying, he kept hanging his head, still showing the signs of being depressed from hurting the girls. Eventually, everyone cleared out, but Miss Ormar told her brother to stay for a minute. You walked out with the rest of the girls and told them to go on ahead while you stayed back and listened outside the door. You heard the entire conversation of Ichika telling her what you said about the girls on how they felt about him, and her knowing for a while that they liked him. Miss Orimura said it was up to him on what he wanted to do about it, and didn't care if he decided to be with them all as long as he was happy. Once you had heard enough, you left and went back to your room to grab your bags and meet everyone out in front. Apparently, Reen had left a note since she had grabbed her stuff and went on ahead to wait on everyone. You picked up the note and read it. I know why you stayed back. I hope everything went all right. Fill me in on later on what was said. I love you, and we'll see you when you get to the front gate, Reen. You grabbed your stuff and that you had already packed and double checked to make sure you have everything. Once you made sure everything was there, you left the room, making sure to lock it, and headed out to the gate. Everyone was there except Miss Orimura, and you all decided to wait before getting on the bus. Eventually, Miss Orimura shows up with Miss Yamada following behind her. Listen up, everyone. I know this is a trip, but keep in mind what it is for. Miss Yamada will be accompanying you guys on the trip while I stay back and attend the classroom for her. She has ultimate say. If something goes wrong on the trip and you are attacked, Ichika and Alex are in charge for it. Listen to their orders. I will see you all back in here in 1 week. Have a safe trip. Dismiss, Miss Ormore says before hurrying back to the academy. Everyone files onto the bus. You sit next to Reen while everyone takes a seat. Once everyone is on and their stuff is put away, the bus takes off to the airport. Reen rests her head against your shoulder and ends up falling asleep while Tatanashi lets Ichika sleep on her shoulder. You can only think that this was going to be a long trip and hope that hope things got better for everyone by the end of it. Chapter 13. And I'm going to pause for a moment. Chapter 13. I apologize for the dog barking. It's the neighbor's dog, and they won't shut up. Chapter 13. The plane trip and hotel. Eventually, the bus makes it to the airport. Everyone grabs their stuff and heads into the airport carrying their stuff. Cecilia had the most, making it seem like she packed every dress she had. Everyone headed to the gate with Tatanashi giving instructions and leading the way. Once everyone passed the security check and got on the plane, they sat down and waited for takeoff. It was going to be a 2-hour flight. Tatanashi took a seat up front by the cockpit area so she could keep status updates on things that were going on. The rest of the girls took seats in the middle area surrounding Ichika while you and Reen sat in the back. Reen has the sad look on her face again as she thought about her mother. You wrap her arm around her to comfort her and she braces herself up against you. It wasn't like her to remain sad for a long time, but you knew that losing a parent had to be hard to deal with. The others will eventually look back and saw the sadness on Reen's face and calm down enough to stop trying to get Ichika's attention. After everyone was safely strapped in, the plane started taxiing down the runway once up in the sky, and the safety belt
safety belt light went off. Everyone took their straps off, trying to cheer Reen up. Eventually, they got her to start laughing, and everyone settled in, having a fun time on the plane. After 2 hours went by, the pilot announced that everyone needed to get their seats because the plane was ready to land. Once everyone was seated and strapped in, the plane started to descend. Once the plane touched down and taxied in the hangar, once everyone got off and passed through security. When they got to the entrance of the airport, there was a guy holding a sign next to the limo with the sign reading IS Academy on it. Everyone approached the limo and got in. Once everyone was in, the limo took off. Eventually, the limo stopped in front of a hotel that looked fancy. Tatanashi led the way in and went up to the receptionist desk. After a few minutes, she came back holding keys out to everyone. You and Reen were sharing a room, while the girls all shared a room. Each guy got his own room, and Tatanashi was sharing a room with her sister Kanzashi. Everyone took their stuff up to their room and put stuff just the way they wanted. You and Reen decided to take a shower together and then lay down to relax. Once you got comfortable on the bed, Reen curled up next to you. You wrapped her arm around you and held her. It wasn't very long before Reen was passed down sleeping on your chest. You were glad that you were here for her. You closed your eyes and fell asleep while still holding Reen. You dreamt of being happy and always being by Reen's side. Chapter 14: The Funeral. Everyone gets up early and gets their outfits on for the funeral. You look over at Reen while getting dressed and see the tears streaming down her face. You go over and hug her, letting her cry on your shoulder. From what you understood from Ichika, Reen was very close to her mom. You can only imagine how she must be feeling inside while you were holding her. It wasn't very long until you heard a knock on the door to the hotel room. You answered and saw Tatanashi standing there. She looked at you, and all you could do is shake your head. Tatanashi went straight over to Reen and held her. You could see in Tatanashi's eyes that she felt sorry for Reen. Slowly, Reen got a hold of herself. She looked at both you and Tatanashi. "Let's go," Reen said. Both you and Tatanashi shook your heads. You held her hand and leave to go meet the others in the lobby. Once you got downstairs, you saw everyone waiting in a group. You meet them, and everyone heads outside to the curb where 3 cars are lined up in a row with the IS Academy logo on them. Ms. Orimura has hired people to drive us for the funeral. Reen and Alex are to be in the first car, while my sister and me are in the second. Everyone else will be in the last car, Tatanashi announced. Everyone filed into the appropriate vehicles, and they got going to the funeral. It took about an hour for the ride to the funeral. Everyone got out of the vehicles and headed up the steps to the funeral home. Once inside, a man between his mid to late 40s approached them. "Hello, everyone. I'm glad you all could make it here to support Reen. Let me properly introduce myself. I am Mao Huang. I am Reen's father. It's also good to see you again, Reen. I wish this was a better occasion," Mr. Huang said. It took everyone by surprise, even Mr. Huang himself, when Reen ran to her father and hugged him. He hugged his daughter back tightly. Everyone knew there was a few issues between her and her father. "I have a favor to ask you boys, though, and unfortunately it's not a good task that I wish you could help with," Mr. Huang said. "May I ask what it is, sir?" you asked. "Would you boys be willing to help carry the coffin? 2 of the guys didn't show up," Mr. Huang said. "We'd be honored to help with this sad occasion any way we could." "I thank you," you say. "I thank you both," Mr. Huang says. Mr. Huang leads the way to the room where everyone was at. The reception lasted about an hour before you and Ichika had to help lift the coffin up and take it to the hearse. You both were nervous, but held your composure and got it up into the vehicle. Once everyone got into their cars, the group started towards the grave site. It took about half an hour to reach the grave site. Everyone got out and headed to the grave itself. You watched Reen say a few things before it was time to lower the grave into the coffin. Once the coffin was lowered, everyone slowly started to disperse and make their way home. Tatanashi woke up first in the morning. Everyone was getting ready when there came a knock back at the hotel. Everyone gathered into you answered the door and saw Reen's father standing there. "Good morning." You sat down in your bed. I was hoping that you and my daughter had stayed in your lap and started make sure you both were on a plane. Everyone stayed the rest of the day in your room to comfort and support Reen. Eventually, Reen cried herself to sleep with her head resting in your lap. Once she was asleep, everyone started talking quietly to each other. Came up beside you. Everyone, are you sure it's all right that we stay here, Reen? Some of them sleeping on the floor. Kanzashi's here to stay with you both just in case something. And was glad everyone's here just in case something happened. Mr. You grab Reen to a hug, and then the next thing you know, are you okay staying here, Kanzashi? No, Orimura already contacted me personally, and I have agreed to stay if you want to. Kanzashi Tatanashi can handle things back at the academy. Kanzashi says with a smile on her face. All right, Dad, we'll stay for the day, Reen says, showing a smile on her face. Everyone else finishes packing and getting the cars back to the airport. As Tasha and Ashley walks by, she whispers to you to look after both Reen and Kansashi. You nod your head in acknowledgement and watch them take off as cars pull up to the curb. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank you for staying back. First off, Reen, I would like to talk to you over lunch. Of course, the others are welcome too. I have a few things to say, and after that, I hope we can have some fun, Mr. Huang says. Reen nods and hops in the car with some Kanzashi and you following. Mr. Huang gets in and takes off. It wasn't long before he stops in front of a building. The place looked really nice, and everyone got out. Mr. Huang led the way into the restaurant. As soon as he approached the cash register, the person looked up and their eyes widened. Mr. Huang, it's a surprise to see you, sir. If it's just the four of you, I have a perfect place for seating. The lady behind the register said. That would be appreciated, Mr. Huang said. The lady led all four of you to a table that was secluded away from the other people. After everyone was seated, the lady handed out menus. Everyone took turns giving their orders. You go and start to pull out money for your share of the bill, seeing how high the prices were for some of the food, when Mr. Huang tells you to put the money away because it wasn't necessary. Well, Reen, I'm sorry for neglecting you for the last few years. I thought it was best to let you be and do what you wanted to. I know you have, but before you say anything else, please let me explain. While I was letting you be, I was making business deals and working my way back to the top. In fact, I own a few restaurants now, and this is one of one of the best establishments. That is why I said there's no need to pay for the bill. I hope that one day you can forgive me for what seemed like I was neglecting you, but I wanted you safe and not involved in the politics of business. I see that you've made a bunch of friends, and I'm proud to call you my daughter. Now, what you do from here is on you. You are old enough to make your own decisions, but I hope you can rely on me if you need anything, Mr. Huang said, waiting for his daughter's reaction. I understand why you did what you did. I hope that one day, if I decide to that, I can work for you and cook. I love cooking, Reen says with a look of love on her face. Of course. Would you like to cook the food for us? I told the cook to wait early today if we had made our orders in case you wanted to do the cooking, Mr. Huang said. I would love to show you how much better I am at cooking now, Reen said. I thought you would. Well now everyone, if you want to follow me, we can watch her cook, Mr. Huang said. You and Kansashi nodded, wanting to see how good Reen could cook. Chapter 16, Trust Gained. Everyone walks into the kitchen of the restaurant, and the chefs move aside to let Reen have control. Seeing Reen grab a few ingredients and start mixing them into a bowl. She starts frying some meat and slowly mixing the sauce she made with the ingredients slowly into the pan. It starts giving off a really good aroma, and then she goes to pour some oil into the pan. As she was pouring the oil, you could see her shaking slightly. You walk up behind her and wrap your arms around, pulling her into a hug. You can tell she had been crying. She has been crying still from losing her mom. Shh, I'm right here. I'll remain here by your side, you say, trying to comfort her. She looks up at you and nods, trying to put a smile on her face. She turns back and continues working on making the food. After what seems like an hour, she has all four plates made. The chefs quickly grab the plates and head out behind you all. Once seated, the chefs placed the plates down in front of each person. Once the plates were set down, Reen's father clears his throat, getting everyone's attention. Mr. Alex, I'll give my blessing if you two ever decide to get married. You seem to be perfect for my daughter and seem to know how to handle situations when they arise. I ask that you take good care of my daughter since I won't be able to be around a lot for her. Now then, shall we eat? Mr. Huang said. Everyone shook their head and had a pleasant conversation for the meal. Once the meal was done, Mr. Huang took everyone to places they wanted to see and got everyone on a plane back to the IS Academy by 7 at night. The plane ride was actually peaceful on the way back to the academy. Rena was fast asleep with her head laying against you, and Zashi was on her computer watching for any enemy signs outside the plane. Once the plane touched down, you picked Rena while she was sleeping. Rena moved into you trying to get closer but didn't wake up. You carry her back to her room and lay down on her bed. Zashi wanted to get an air mattress from Miss Omura, thinking it was best for you to stay the night in the room with her and Reen. It wasn't very long before Kazashi returned with a mattress that had air in it. She laid it down at the foot of Reen's bed. You and Kazashi took turns getting dressed in the bathroom of the dorm room and packed it in for the night. You wake up in the morning to a surprise. Reen must have got up in the middle of the night because she was laying next to you with her head on your chest.
Kanzashi comes out of the bathroom dressed but with wet hair. I was wondering when you were going to wake up and notice she was laying with you, Kanzashi said. It's a surprise, I'll admit that, you say quietly to not wake Reen up. She must really love you. Please take care of her. She has been hurt too many times in her life. I read her dossier. Miss Orimura gave it to me. By the way, Miss Orimura wants to talk to you both when you are both awake and ready to start your day, since everyone has the day off. I know it's about, but was told to keep quiet about it, Kanzashi said. Thanks, Kanzashi, for the heads up. I'm going to wake her and get ready to meet Miss Orimura, you say. You touch Rin, gently tapping on her arm to get her to wake up. Rin slowly wakes up and smiles at you when she looks up into your face. You smile and then kiss her gently on the lips. We need to get up. We have to meet Miss Orimura today, you say. Reen gets up slowly and grabs some clothes while you get up and head cheers to take a shower and get dressed. It took about 45 minutes for both of you to get a shower in, eat, and end up in front of the door to Miss Orimura's office. Now it's time to see what Miss Orimura wanted. Chapter 17. Good or bad? Reen grabs your hand as you knock on the door to Miss Orimura's office. As soon as you stop knocking, you heard Miss Orimura say, "Come in." You look at Reen and open the door and walked in slowly. First thing you see is Miss Orimura at her desk with a copy of the school newspaper in her hands. Thank you both for showing up. There's a little problem concerning the both of you. I have a proposal for the both of you to solve this situation, Miss Orimura says. You and Reen both sit down knowing that this can't be good, but glad that Miss Orimura knew a solution already to solve the situation. I just want to know if we are in trouble, you ask. Yes and no. Here's the situation. The relationship between you two has reached public ears, and the media is going haywire over it. I have a solution, though, to bring this stuff to an end. The question I have for you to solve the solution is another thing. First, Alex, how much do you love Reen? Miss Orimura says and asks. I love her with my entire heart, and would do anything for her, you say. Second, Reen, how much do you love Alex? Miss Orimura asks Reen. I feel the same way that Alex feels about me, Reen says. Well, here's my offer so that this doesn't become a huge issue with the media. I propose that we both have you marry each other. I've discussed it with your father, Reen, and he said that he gave Alex his blessings if he wishes to marry you. Upon the marriage, if you both decide to marry each other, you will share a room. I want both of your opinions on this matter, Miss Orimura says. You get down on a knee in front of Reen. Reen, I love you with all my heart, and wanted to approach this another different way. Under the circumstances, though, I will ask you now, will you marry me, you say and ask. Reen wraps you in a hug. Yes, Reen cries out happily with tears streaming down her face from happiness. Good. The wedding will take place in 3 days from now. The rings and wedding will be paid for by me. Pick out the rings you want tomorrow and type of wedding dress you want. Just tell them that the IS Academy is paying for it all. I want to discuss details for the wedding too. So, Reen, you'll spend the day with me while Alex spends the day with Ichika. The girls will be with us today too, so let's get going, shall we? Miss Orimura says. Alright, chapter 18. Preparing for the wedding. You head out with Ichika to the department store, so you have to get a suit, rings, and decide what to do with the rest of your time for the wedding. You were nervous because you're going to get married to the girl that you love. It didn't take long to get to the city. When you got to the train station, you saw Miss Yamada standing there waiting for you. I was told to escort you around and help you today. To have a wedding take place at the academy is going to be so awesome. It will be the first wedding to happen at the academy, Miss Yamada says. With help from both Ichika and Miss Yamada, you found a really good place for getting a suit. When the manager found out it was for you and that you are a student of the IS Academy, she refused to charge the academy and decided to sponsor the wedding instead. When she had picked out a nice dark blue suit and tie, you called Miss Orimura to let her know about the sponsorship for the wedding. Miss Orimura said she was going to call the store and make arrangements with the shop. So far, everything was going good as you get to the store to get a ring for Reen. You searched for a while and asked for a ring to be made and shipped overnight to the academy. The design that you picked out for the ring was a ruby in the middle with a rose on each side. At the bottom of the ring, you had the words "My Beloved" done in cursive. It was the masterpiece from your mind. After the design was set, the three of you headed back to the academy. Once you left to go to the shops for shopping, Reen and the girls got started on picking the dress for the wedding. Miss Orimura worked on getting preparations done on the setting for the wedding. It was going to take place in Arena 3 since it could accommodate the entire academy student body student body and the guests that would be attending the academy for the wedding. Reen and the girls eventually settled on a design for the dress that would fit her body, and the veil was kept short and back due to her height. While the girls had picked out the dress, Miss Ormore had preparations done for places to sponsor the wedding and reception. With ideas from Reen, Miss Ormore had to lay out design for the wedding. Everything would be there and get set up 2 days from now. Reen started to become exhausted after a while and head back to the room to sleep. Once you got back to the academy, you bid Ichika and Miss Yamada a good night since it was late. You head back to your room and find Reen asleep in your bed. Quietly, not to wake her, you get sleep outfit and take a shower. After you get done with your shower, you climb into the bed next to Reen so slowly so not to wake her. It didn't take you long to fall asleep. You wake up in the morning and head out to practice all day for your part of the wedding. Reen was to practice with you. It took almost 10 hours for you to get everything right. Once everything was done, you both headed back to your room and slept until the next morning, knowing once you both woke up, you had to be separated for the whole time until the wedding. Upon waking up in the morning, uh, Ichika and Hoki came by to get you. You were going to spend the whole day practicing your fighting skills. You would be staying the night at Ichika's room, swapping with Tatanashi. Tatanashi was glad to swap rooms with you for the night. The only thing that you knew was going on with Reen was they were getting things ready to do things to help her get ready for tomorrow. After a few hours of practice, you went to Ichika's room with him to study. You studied for the rest of the day and turned in early from exhaustion. All you could think about was seeing Reen and the wedding as you drifted off to sleep. Chapter 19, The Wedding and a Surprise Visitor. You wake up early in the morning. Ichika is already awake, which was a surprise because he usually sleeps in as much as possible when he gets a chance. You get up and take a shower. You have a bunch of shower supplies with you that you bought for the occasion to be really good. After the shower, you put on some cologne that you had bought and got your dress suit on. You'd ironed the suit out last night to make sure there wasn't any wrinkles in it. Once you were satisfied with the suit, you combed your hair. You heard a knock on the door of the room and decided to answer it. When you opened the door, Kanzashi was standing there with a tray of food. Miss Ormore told me to bring this to you for breakfast because you and Rin can't see each other yet, Kanzashi says. Thanks, Kanzashi. I owe you one, you say. I'm to remain here and escort you to the wedding when it is time. The wedding is supposed to start in an hour, Kanzashi says. You sit down to wait and eat your breakfast. Reen woke up 3 hours before the wedding and took a shower. She put on a set of clothes to wear temporarily until she had to put on the dress. A little while after she got out of the shower, the other girls brought her breakfast and escorted her to the changing area for her to get her dress on. Once Reen was at the changing room, she was told to stand in the middle of the room. Once she was in the middle, a group of girls slid the dress on Reen. One girl painted her fingernails while another did her makeup. Her hair was combed to where it was in two buns, and an ornamental moon and stars were pinned into her buns in her hair. The wedding dress left 2 inches above her ankles so it wouldn't drag on the ground. The dress had diamonds and small rubies embedded in it along the collar section. The veil was just long enough to be a little below her shoulder blade areas. The dressing took a while, and before Reen knew it, it was time to take her place at the starting position. You got up and followed Kanzashi when she said it was time to take your starting place. You were walking to the starting place when a girl came around the corner. She looked like a younger version of Miss Orimura. What are you doing here, Madoka? Ichika asked. I came here to see the wedding and turn myself into the academy. I'm sorry for what I did in the past and willing to accept my punishment, Madoka said. Follow us, and please hand me the device for your IS, Ichika said, while holding out his hand. But Madoka handed over the device while Kanzashi called Miss Orimura about the situation. After a few minutes, Madoka was allowed to go to the wedding, but was under the three of your guys' watch. Once you got to the arena, you saw the entire place was filled with students and guests to see the wedding. Even the media was there to broadcast the wedding. It was a sight to see as you walked down the aisle where family and friends were seated. You approached the flat platform and walk up to it to stand at your starting position. Once you were in your starting position, the music started playing, and everyone looked at the entrance as Reen came out. The sight of her was breathtaking. She approached the platform and walked up to stand beside you in front of the person that would be reading the rites of marriage. When she was next to you, the woman cleared her throat. Everyone had a mic piece so it could be heard throughout the arena. If you two have any words to say to each other, you may go ahead with them now. The woman said. You turned the Reen. Since the day I saw you, I knew there was something special about you.
You have made me feel wanted by someone, which is a first for me. I wish to have you by my side for eternity. I will also be here for you through anything you say. Once you're silent, Reen started to talk. You've been there for me through all the hard times I have had. Even when I was in my worst state of mind, you stayed by my side. I know I can be mean sometimes and don't mean to. You even look past my faults and still care for me. I wish to remain by your side forever, Reen says. Once both were done, you both turned to the woman for her to read the vows. Do you, Alex, take Reen to be your wife no matter what happens in life? The woman asked. I do, you say proudly. Do you, Reen, take Alex to be your husband no matter what happens in life? The woman asks. I do, Reen says. You may now kiss the bride, the woman says. You bring Reen in and kiss her deeply. Once you kiss her, everyone in the arena starts cheering. In your mind, as you both head to the arena too for the reception, you knew this was the day that you would never forget. During the reception, Miss Orimura accepted Madoka's offer of turning herself in. As a result, she wasn't punished, but would be watched closely. You saw Miss Orimura, Ichika, and Madoka catching up on things with each other and having a blast. You couldn't help but think that today is the best day of your life. Later that day, when both you and Reen were in your room, you held her in your arms while going to sleep. You could see the smile on her face and knew that for once something perfect has happened in your life.